yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. Man. I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab from here in Birmingham, Alabama. A little bit wet, drizzling, but unfortunately we'll give you some updates on the weather. A little nervous here on my side. We did ask Mother Nature for a favor, so we'll see if she comes through for us. But with that being said, welcome to episode 818 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU dash for all things HBCU sports. For institutions large and small, from the NEIA to the NCAA, we share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, with my co-host, Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. They're both out on assignment, but I have none other than AD Drew, and I have the small crew behind us. That is Deuce Cavil back here, Miles McGinty. They do their own show, and we'll give you the mic to them in the second segment to kind of do some analysis and breakdown. They've been studying the game, breaking down the game all weekend. We've been here since Thursday, gentlemen. And so I asked them how they were doing. A little bit of rain has probably dampened a little bit, but they've been making it work, having a good time, eating well, and things of that nature. But we are filming from Rickwood Park, the oldest baseball park in the country. The Negro League team, the Barron Black Bears, had played here along with the Birmingham Barons as well. MLB has played a contest here, so a lot of things are done. When they came here, they updated the field. And as they updated the field, they've done a great job of really making it so you've been able to get the games in, push some games back. But ultimately, we have our championship matchup. We're filming, as I said, right here in Rickwood, Birmingham. The game is scheduled to kick off at 1 o'clock, but we'll see what that looks like. And just wanted to give a shout out to the beautiful home of Texas Southern University, as we normally go from Houston, Texas. But with that being said, it's good to be with you live here at Birmingham. Today's episode of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, as always, is sponsored by THG Agency, LLC. THG Agency is a company that provides sporting, educational, consulting, and data analytics. In today's show, as we said, we'll get into some breakdown matchups. Let me go ahead and give you an update from this perspective that you will see that the Alabama State clinched their mark to get into this yesterday as they played the late game and got it done against UAPB. Early in the day, FAMU clinched their spot in as they were able to defeat Southern. Both teams come in without losing a tournament game, both 3-0 perfect marks coming out of their bracket. So no if games, which is a good thing with the challenges. You might would have had one this morning, but that was not the case. So that was a good thing as we get going here looking at this matchup. Let me give you a little bit in terms of the weather and what we're seeing, what we're hearing. Starting at noon, and it did start drizzling, but it's supposed to be 100% rain. The degrees are 77 degrees. So it's good temperatures, but the rain is mixing up. It's supposed to go to 90% at 1 o'clock, at 2 p.m., 65%, at 3 p.m., 60%, at 4 p.m., 60%, at 5 p.m., 45%, and at 6 p.m., 40%, and at 7 p.m., 40%. And you're supposed to finally get a break in the rain at about 7:30, right around sunset. You do not get the rain picking back up until 9 o'clock, which is a 35% when the weather dips down to 72. So that's a forecast for the day. We have not gotten an update in terms of what's going to take place, but we certainly know that we will not start on time because the teams, while they're in the stands, at least FAMU is in the stands. We don't see Alabama State team here yet, but they're not even on the field warming up. So that gives you a little indication of what's going on here. Again, we will keep you updated in terms of what that looks like. Furthermore, did want to share a little tidbit about the teams. This was a tournament that featured many Eastern Division and Western Division matchups. And when I say those, I'm talking about former. Remember, this is the second year where the regular season where all the teams still played 30 games. They played 10 games, 3-game series with everybody in the conference except for 2 teams that were on the schedule, or 1 team that's not on the schedule because obviously you can't play yourself. So fascinating to do that. Before that, you had 2 divisions. You had a Western Division and the Eastern Division. And so if you look back, it was interesting. The first day, you all had those former matchups with teams in the East, teams in the West. Well, that's been a big thing of late where you talk about a lot of folks looking at the matchups there in terms of who is the strongest. Obviously, the former Eastern teams have kind of dominated the championships, regular season, and tournament as of late. But let me give you a breakdown of what you will see today before we get back into that. In the tournament, the former Eastern Division teams have won 7 games. The former Western Division teams have won 4 games. And you have the matchup where you have an all former Eastern Division championship. That's happened 3 of the last 4 years, if you would. In 2026, the SWAC Baseball Championship will feature the Bracket A, which is the number 3 regular season ranked team in terms of the finish. They come in with a record of 30-22, 22-8 in conference play versus Bracket B, which is Alabama State Hornets, who also came in through the tournament scorching hot 3-0. They were number 4 seeded coming into the tournament, finishing 4th place in the regular season with an overall record of 33-21. Conference-wise, they were 20-10. So 2-game difference in terms of the regular season. In terms of the finish, they did see each other during the regular season. One was in Florida for a baseball game where FAMU got it done there. Well, no, Alabama State won there. Then you had a 3-game series where Alabama State traveled to Tallahassee, and the Hornets got swept in that series. Just to give you a little indication of what took place in those games, we'll give you some scores as AD brings it up. But one other thing I wanted to get in here a little bit as he's going those scores is somebody gets to be the first team to win 2 tournament championships since the 12-team SWAC expansion era. That's a dynamic. Somebody gets the threshold. The last coach that is still active that has done that is Jackson State Omar Johnson, who's done it a while back, but he has done it twice.
Pre-pandemic
In terms of his championship, 10-member field. He did play for a championship against Grambling a couple of years ago. Grambling got it done, which is the last team that we've seen come out of the former Western Division getting it done.
And they don't know.
We had Southern play for some championship. No, I said the last.
Yeah.
Southern did it before that, a couple of years before that when they actually lost to Alabama State in a tournament championship. That one was here in Birmingham, but it was at the minor league ballpark. That was a classic game that we were there for. A milestone game in terms of the innings. 17 innings did not seem like it ever end. It took a brilliant play to end it, or it looked like it was going to the next inning as well. 18, which starts getting into those record numbers, certainly a record for the SWAC. Fascinating. We've had one here that was a multi-inning game between Prairie View and Jackson State. Now, that's eons ago. Coach Kadar, Coach Michael Robinson that retired this year was a part of that magic. And that game had to be postponed. It got so late. Incidents happened at the ballpark, and they had to play the next day. But give you to finish that tournament off. So we've seen some intriguing things with the SWAC tournament history-wise, but I kind of want to focus on this new era of the SWAC 12 teams because it's different in terms of what that looks like. So I'm going to let AD chime in a little bit. I've been talking about just what the teams did to get here in terms of the overall record and what they did in the tournament, not anything specific. I also talked about a little bit about, as you just heard, a coach getting a chance to step really their program in terms of winning their second tournament championship. I think there's 3 teams that you can argue in the last 5 years that can state that they're the best team in the conference, which is FAMU, obviously, 3 tournament championships in 4 years. They're seeking their second tournament championship. They do have 1 former Eastern Division title. And then you have Alabama State that has 2 former Eastern Division titles. They're going for their second tournament championship. You have Bethune-Cookman that has 2 regular season titles and a tournament championship. So it's interesting to kind of see some people can talk about what that looks like, and would love the lab listeners to chime in their thoughts in terms of these last 5 years and since the SWAC era. We're halfway through this first decade, where famously in football, many people talked about that. They're still on Omar. Hey, I'm just starting facts. Y'all argue about Omar. All I say is before you push somebody out the door, you make sure you have the funding ready to commit to your coach that you're going to get.
And can you get better?
Well, that's why I said you need to make sure you committed to your coach. Because if you're going to bring somebody in, to me, you ought to pretty much know what that is. You don't just have an open search. If you're somebody like Jackson State with a perennial program or even Southern, I think you're past the time where you're just letting people send in resumes and you pick the best person. If you're going to let a solid coach go that has won tournaments, then your job as a alumni and supporter is go put the money on the table with your AD and your president and say that we're ready to move forward. This is what we're going to commit financially to the program, and this is who we have in mind to go get to lead our program. If you're just looking at the search, you just rolling craps. You might as well go to Las Vegas. And some of y'all may be good at gambling. We got Brian. He does it pretty well. So some of y'all might live in that lifestyle. And so you just like the idea of shooting craps and just hoping that you're going to get something. And so those are the things. I don't ever tell the program what they need to change. I tell them what they need to do from a management perspective, from a strategic perspective, from a consulting perspective. If you're going to do that, how you need to go about it. And that's the thing. So I'll leave that open, but I certainly understand Jackson State frustration. But you also need to understand this is a new era and the teams dominate. This is the 5th year where you have a different champion. Those back-to-back champions, those years where Southern and Grambling and Jackson were the only team vying for baseball championships, they were the only ones really supporting it. Those days are long gone. Yeah. You got a conference where you can argue the conference is at least 9 teams deep. 9 teams deep where teams are seriously pushing it. The health of the team is probably at least 4 to 5 teams in terms of serious teams that have a chance to win. Serious contenders of a regular season and tournament championship over the years. But in terms of what we've seen this year, where if you're just not going to walk through the tournament, be able to not throw your ace or whatever. This year you saw where an 8th place team could push the envelope. And what's fascinating when you talk about Omar, the 8th place seed came down to last week's the final week, and between Jackson State
take 2 out of 3
to get it, and they did. That'd be 8th seed, which is 7th. So that lets you know that there's some depthness to this conference, and are you committing the resources to be successful? We just had a report yesterday for FCS that talked about football programs and the resources they putting in there. I'll save that maybe to the end because we won't talk baseball. Let me turn it over to you before we break our first segment and bring these 2 guys in.
Well, Dr. Cavil, you hit on a couple of points there. Number one, if you are, and we're not just talking about Jackson State, but any program, especially who has had the success of a Jackson State, he said, no open resumes. You are not going on Indeed.com to find your next baseball coach. You better have a very short, targeted list if you're the athletic director and or president. Okay, if we make this move, or if coach decides to step away on his own, these are our top 3 to 5 candidates that we want to talk to. So,
and there's some good ones out there.
Yeah,
you need to be prepared.
There are some good
Go
ones.
get 'em.
And then you have to make the decision. Do we stay with somebody who is from the HBCU diaspora?
Oh, yeah.
That could be bringing up a Division II coach from the SIAC to it. That could be targeting another coach within the SWAC.
Yeah.
Or do we target a hotshot power conference assistant?
Yep.
And give him his opportunity. So there are a couple different approaches that you can take to it, and depending on the school, the money, and everything else will depend on what that school does. But there are a lot of things that go into it. It's not like, say, you're not going on Indeed.com. Number 2, you brought up team of the decade, Dr. Cavil. I'm trying not to sound like a homer when I say this. FAMU wins this championship today. FAMU has to be the team of the 2/3 of the decade that we have had, or the team of expansion in baseball. FAMU is the only team in the expansion era that has made it to the Final Four every year.
I think that's a check mark.
They have regular season title. They have
division,
but it's still a regular season title.
I'm just saying, I want everybody to be clear, because I'm gonna do the opposite. I think you're making a hell of an argument, but I'm gonna tell you why the other 2 need to be in play.
Okay, regular season, postseason title,
correct.
Another postseason championship appearance.
Every 2 if they win this.
But no, we just talked about the appearance. This is their 3rd.
Oh yeah, they're 3 and 4 years.
Yeah, 3. They're going 3 and 4 years in the championship game. Include 1 win, 1 loss. So a win kind of cements it. Even without a win, they could still, you can still make a valid argument about Florida A&M being the team of the decade thus far. And a close second is probably the other team who's in this championship game, which would be Alabama State. Now, the merit against Alabama State, they do have a year when they did not make the Final Four.
Correct.
So, it would be a toss-up between Alabama State.
That's why I like to say it's 3. And I think all you laid out is why you would say yes for FAMU.
Yes.
But I also think you're putting a lot of weight on the tournament. I like to take a more balanced approach where we look at the regular season, conference play, and we look at the tournament. And I think that's where it becomes a little more challenging, while the other 2 actually have a play. And you have the mix of the conference scheduling turn in, where Bethune-Cookman gets the credit. They've won 2 regular season tournament when everything was the same, and you were on it in terms of what that looks like, in terms of winning this year and last year.
Yeah.
And so they have the 1 tournament championship. So that's different. Where Alabama State gets into play, just like you say with FAMU, if they win today, then they would have 2 tournament championships, which pushes them in the same position and pretty much the same arguments that you're making for Alabama State. They don't have the 3 or 4 years, but they have 2 division championships, which in some ways you can equate in terms of the dominance of what they did. So anyway, ultimately, what we saying is not only is there a championship on the line today, if we can get it in,
we have no choice.
You would imagine. I mean, stranger things will happen.
I mean, unless we play at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And just to show y'all what we
good thing it is on SWAC TV
is talking about. Let's see if I can get it. I got there we go. I don't know if you could clearly see it on the screen, but for all those who are expecting this game to tip off in 39 minutes or first pitch at 39 minutes, it ain't happening, y'all. And if we look to our left, you can see Florida A&M just chilling in the stands, not even warming up right now.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So,
Yep.
you know, I don't even know where Alabama State is at. They probably hiding somewhere under the
bleachers
under the
staying
bleachers
on the
somewhere.
bus.
Oh yeah, they may have went back out to the bus. Hell, they may have went back to the hotel for all we know.
They
You know,
might- they got
just
a
happened to be staying. Didn't know it until I got there. I just happened to be staying in the same hotel with Alabama State.
Okay.
So
Good. Yeah. So we were in the hotel with FAMU and Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
So let's take our first break because I want to get these guys on here. They've been patiently waiting. We'll get them on here after this first break.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with AD Drew, here with the two media, HBCU Young Media Lab guest here giving us, and we have Deuce Cavil the second, and we have Miles McGinty coming in here straight from Birmingham, Alabama. Let me first, before we get into the breakdown, because I know y'all love to break down the game itself, but I want to ask a little more personal question in terms of starting with you, Miles. What was your thoughts and excitement about hearing that you were going to be able to make the trip with Deuce to Birmingham?
I was happy because I really want to go. So I was just excited for it. And I was just looking forward to it all month.
Oh, month? Wow.
He had a whole countdown going on. Every school day, he would say, 6 more days left.
That's clear. So let me ask you from this perspective. You've flown quite a bit for a young person. Starting when you were 3, international, got your own passport, which is big deal for some.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And actually, his first trip out of the house was to PV's homecoming when he was 3 months.
I've heard
the
you tell
legal
that story.
ed, yeah, when
I've
he
heard
was
you tell
able to
that
leave.
story.
Now he just stayed. He did stay overnight in the RV. Now, last year was second year where he decided to come back. So he's to the point now that he's a regular in terms of the RV at Prairie View's homecoming. So
You're
that was
taking all the
unique.
fun away from him when he gets to be college.
Yeah, I don't know
because he gonna have done everything.
But yeah, that's it. Whatever. But with that being said, how did you feel about the flight coming over? What was your thought?
I was excited being able to come with my best friend, and I was happy that I would be able to watch SWAC baseball and hopefully maybe see Bethune-Cookman have a chance to win the championship.
Yeah, good stuff. I know the rain has kind of thrown it off, Miles, in terms of the up and down, but you did get a full day out of the park one of the days. Then yesterday was got a little sick, so we stayed in the hotel.
Yeah.
You know, how's the hotel been, even though maybe you're not feeling as well?
It's been great. I mean, I like it. It's not the biggest hotel, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It has enough room to fit all of us.
The
So,
best part are the waffles.
oh yeah, the waffles have been great this morning.
When you're their age, you rate the hotels by the breakfast.
But I'm so bad they didn't have the bacon today. So,
Oh, bacon?
Yeah.
Man,
They had
that-
sausage, and they were running out of the sausage every time I looked up and get it, but y'all didn't want the sausage.
yeah,
So our last day is tomorrow, so we will have another day of waffle if you want it. A lot of people are gone, so hopefully we'll be able to get
hopefully we'll
some
get bacon
bacon.
tomorrow.
Right,
Yeah.
bacon
yes, I
tomorrow.
want bacon.
Bacon. With that being said, let's really talk about the matchup.
Okay.
We'll start with you, Deuce. What are your thoughts in terms of the matchup? I guess I'll say first is y'all got the Bethune-Cookman hats on. Number
They
one seed.
should have. I think they would have won, but they just weren't locked in during the Pine Bluff game. They were able to get another win, and then after playing Pine Bluff, everything went downhill from that.
Yeah. Let me get your thoughts on that, but let me go from this perspective. You got to interview the coach.
Oh yeah.
Deuce
Yeah.
actually filmed it this morning before they got on the road. What did you think about the interview?
I liked the interview. It was good talking with the coach. He had a good mood, great environment where we were, great tone. It was a great feeling. I think the only reason why I think Bethune lost because I think they were over their heads a little bit about breaking school record.
That
and
Pine
wins.
Bluff game.
I think they just thought they were just gonna win it all, and they weren't really thinking about what happens if they could lose, or they weren't trying their hardest out there. I could see because normally they would put up. It wouldn't be this close games like this, especially when it's like 1 versus 8 seed. Even though it's SWAC tournament, anything can happen. I think it should have been a little bit. It shouldn't have been that close. Even against Grambling, they only won like 7-8, so still a little bit close. And I think
Good point.
they were just like a little bit just kind of cocky-ish, just thinking they were gonna win it no matter what. Or they were just they just thought they were gonna win, so they went out there thinking about that, and they didn't win. So I think
I know you also follow Texas Southern University. What did you think about their tournament run? They did get a win in here and fought through it and had a couple of close games, but what about that?
Yeah, I mean,
I will not accept any FAMU hats. I'm a Bethune-Cookman fan. I'm sorry.
no,
Are you Miles or are you TSU a fan?
yeah, I mean, you gotta see what we have on right now. So I mean, I don't think.
Now that's part of the recruiting. I like that, Coach Brent.
That's Brian Fulford.
Brian
my partner
Fulford.
on
One of the
TSU
things that
was
you
Brian.
got to get, and I tell everybody to do this, and I'm serious about this part. When you have folks around your program, and many of the coaches throughout the SWAC, and it's various coaches, are usually pretty good about talking to folks, coaches interview them, but fans and you all need to make sure that you have extra gear with you so you can give out a shirt or two, so you can give out a hat. Coach made sure they had this. So part of that is about either fans, alumni, saying, hey, let's make sure that they have all the gear for all the SWAC schools so when they do on the show, they can switch off and do the analysis. That's one thing that we can make happen for you all in terms of what they're doing. Speaking of your show, where can they go get the interview? And then I'll let you ask a question. Go ahead.
What's the question again?
Where can they find the interview?
on HBCU
Oh, yeah,
Sports Network.
Yeah, we're gonna edit it. You can search up on YouTube.
Yeah, it will be posted
sometime today.
Yeah.
HBCU Sports Network. We have 106 subscribers right now. Go check us out whenever you get a chance. All capital letters. HBCU Sports Network.
We will try to interview the FAMU coach and Alabama State coach.
Yeah, we just posted a vlog of all the things we did coming from the plane to getting here to this moment right now. So go check that out right now.
Go ahead.
One piece of advice before you interview the two coaches today: make sure y'all lose the hats before y'all interview the two coaches today.
I have an ASU hat right there.
Oh, that'll work too. That'll work for the ASU interview. So Brian, we just got
This
to
is
get
another case when he went to the Turkey Day Classic. The AD and all athletic administrators made sure that he was tough with gears. They actually saw the same thing. He had the Bethune-Cookman stuff on. He said, "Hey man, we need to get you some gear."
Although I did send him some Morehouse gear.
Oh, he's worn at Morehouse.
I haven't seen him in it though.
In fact, did you bring it?
What?
The Morehouse shirt. Didn't you wear it the first day?
No, I didn't bring it.
Okay. Yeah, he's worn it quite a bit. I was like, oh, you like that?
Yeah.
So he's represented. Like I said, if he gets it, he wears it because he's real color coded.
I'm gonna have to send some to Miles when I get back.
That's right. Send him some. With that being said, go ahead.
Officially, right now they under rain delay. Officially pushed back to at least 2:00.
Yeah,
so
I don't know about that.
We will see. But that's
I'm saying like
that's
5
on
or
the
6.
SWAC Twitter page.
Okay,
so officially pushed
so we
back
got
to
to update 2:00. We'll run this until a little bit after 1. We'll see how it's playing, and then we'll make some moves and decisions to see what that looks like. All right. Getting back to this matchup, going back to you, Miles. What are your thoughts? What are you looking for this matchup? And I want you to talk from a FAMU perspective first, and then we'll break down Alabama State. But from a pitching and fielding perspective, what do you think about FAMU in this matchup against Alabama State?
FAMU, I think they could win this. They haven't really had too much close games. I know their game may start off close, but they always find a way to break out. So that's one thing they gotta do. They gotta find a way to break the lead. They gotta find a way just to get past the closeness of the game. They gotta start off hot, or at least just somewhat just warm, just to get out towards the end and be hot. That's the only way they're gonna win it. I think. And looking from a SWAC perspective, you need FAMU to win this tournament because
he told me
because Alabama State, they've had all their games close in this whole tournament. If you're even though you're hot right now, imagine playing Florida State and your games have been close against Pine Bluff. That's not gonna be a good game. If you have a FAM, they've had not close games against good teams. If they can win this, I think they could beat a team, Florida State. Because
I don't know about Florida State though.
I mean,
it's your fault. But go ahead. Let's
his opinion.
Because I think maybe because I'm saying FAM, they could beat Bethune, and if Bethune could beat a team like LSU, Florida.
Yeah.
I think they could. But the only way for the SWAC to be successful this year in the tournament is they need FAM to win.
You talking about when you say tournament, the NCAA tournament?
Yeah.
I got you. So let me ask you, from a fielding perspective in the field, what about FAMU? What do you like in terms of how they play in the field?
They're smart with their plays. They know where they need to go. They know where they want to throw and how they need to throw. They have been really on point with catching and protecting home base a lot. That's why they have not let a lot of runs up.
Yeah, we're starting to see here one thing that makes me nervous. It's raining so hard, even though the field takes rain really well, you're starting to see the puddles. You see a puddle.
You see a puddle in the outfield.
Right,
oh, yeah.
but right off the dirt behind the shortstop. You see one to the left of shortstop and to the right of second base, one right behind second base. You see a pretty even larger puddle behind where the second baseman would play right off the dirt and grass.
Yeah.
And then on the corner.
I can feel the rain over here.
Yeah, so on the back, we see it's raining so hard that even though we're covered, we're at the very top, and you see we feel a little bit of mist. They give you some indication of what's taking place here for those that are checking out the show. Let's take our next break. We'll come back on the other side, and then we're going to look at it from an Alabama State perspective. Your thoughts on both offensively
And,
what they do in the field.
And there is one question in the chat, Dr. Cavil, I do want to get to on the other side also.
No problem. We certainly will. Appreciate the questions from the chat.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
Oh, yeah, they can't play.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. They're out on assignment. So we have none other than AD Drew. We're here live in Birmingham, Alabama, at Rickwood Field in a rainstorm. It's raining pretty hard now as I open it up. You do have the puddle, so I'm really nervous. But I'm sure they're going to do everything to get the game in. But it's supposed to rain, as I told you, I opened up. It's supposed to rain pretty solidly until 7:30 where it stops. Now, the good thing is it was like 100%, and then it starts to taper down about 5% every 30 minutes or so until like 7:30 when it stops. But with that being said, let's get back into it. I know there's a question from the listeners, lab listeners out there.
And see, this goes back to the other question, Joseph, that somebody asked earlier. Let me find it. Okay, Dr. Cavil, let's talk about the attendance here at the SWAC tournament. And I'm going to say this. I've kind of monitored the tournament also here in Birmingham, across town. Attendance has not been that great at that tournament either, the SEC in Hoover. And one of the main reasons attendance has suffered has been because of the weather and the unpredictability of the weather. Somebody in our chat group asked this about not being able to see fans on TV. And if you've ever been to Rickwood Field, it's kind of a unique layout. What you see on TV are the
lower level,
this lower level, which is exposed to the sun. I'm gonna tell y'all something. At 2:00 in the afternoon, that is not where you want to be sitting at here at this particular stadium. So what tends to happen is the people who are here are up under the cover off camera, where the camera angles are not showing. Yeah, now, I'm going to be real. Have we had 2,000 fans here? No, not at any single game. But, you know, we've had about the same type of crowds that you would have on campus, Dr. Cavil. That's the best way that I could describe.
Yeah, I've taken a picture, and we'll see if we can post it up to give you a couple of looks out here. But I think you said it perfectly. No, attendance-wise, this year has not been as what you even saw last year in terms of what that looks like. And a lot of that is just because of the weather. I don't care where you go in the conference. If you get weather, you're not going to have the same capacity that you have.
And weather also includes the 95-degree games too.
Whatever the weather. And then you're coming from a culture, and I really want to break this down in a little bit, is I think we forget that a lot of people are in trauma right now. We have on record the worst employment for African Americans since Reconstruction, essentially. We have 500,000 Black people, women out of work. That means they're tight. Those are folks that are also HBCU fans, SWAC fans. And so just like the weather with somebody not coming here, which I certainly understand, we got here early. It's an annual trip. We kind of plan it. But other folks don't have the same time and resources. And when you talk about the local fans in Birmingham, they get out. And last year you had a pretty good number of local folks in Birmingham that came to the park. But you also have a place that has been hit really hard from unemployment in terms of where people have worked. And so you have that issue. Then you also have the fact that people are not going to get out in this weather. They can't get sick. They don't have health insurance because they took it away. So people are a lot more careful and cognizant of what's going on. I think some of us get so alarmed and focused on HBCU sports and like to mimic what the other folks are doing. And all of them struggled this weekend because they were like, as these young men counted it and looked at it, they saw delays across the landscape of sports, and they follow HBCU, but when they do it, they go to D1 baseball, and they look at the updates, and they see all the conferences, and they just saw all these cancellations on ESPN, whatever, and they pointed out to me.
There's like 7 rain delays yesterday when I checked.
These are the young experts, so they going out there and they telling you. So I think sometimes we need to not be so self wounded to ourself in regards to punishing us more than we even understand the landscape. And I think that's something from generational trauma that we do. And we need to be careful about self-inflicting that trauma and treating ourselves worse than we give others a break in terms of what's going on. Now, the uniqueness about this place here, though, is it's an old school field. So it was developed when they had the roofs designed for baseball. So the entire stands, when you talk about the upper deck, is underneath what, if you think about a barn,
overhang,
or
to use a Tuskegee reference, the shed,
good one. And so that's what you want to think about. So obviously, a lot of folks sit up here, and the camera shot goes to the baseball home plate, so you can see that. And even behind home base, they have a flat area where they put the SWAC logo and the teams there, where there's no seats.
Used to be in play.
And you see kids playing last night because they brought them out. And during the day when it's good weather, they had the kids out there. You see them back there shagging balls, running around, doing stuff like that. But then there's seats. So that's why you don't see necessarily a lot of people sitting there. And then when you had this type of weather and it drizzled off and on all the day, folks wasn't getting up there because you can't bring in umbrellas. Some people may have raincoats, but a lot of folks thought it was just easy to sit under the shade
or stay at home.
Stay dry.
Or stay at home and watch.
And then you have SWAC TV, like a lot of you all, which makes sense. You watch it on TV. That's why you able to see what it looks like, because it's convenient.
Yeah.
Which is the modern fan base, convenient of what's going on. So I wanted to give a thorough analysis of what's taking place there. I want to go back. Go ahead.
Let me add to that. That area that you're talking about behind home plate, Dr. Cavil, just to kind of give you the perspective of this ballpark, that area used to be in play once upon a time. This used to have one of the deepest backstops in minor league baseball before they renovated it last year, or it was 2 years ago for the Rickwood Classic, featured the San Francisco Giants and my St. Louis Cardinals. So that actually used to be playable areas. Just to kind of give you people some perspective.
I forgot about that because there's some legendary games where balls would just roll and you couldn't forget it.
Yes. You going first to third on the pass.
Now
ball.
I remember we played at some ballparks where they had a brick wall in the back and the ball would bounce back. So they made it really hard. It would come back so hard, it'd be right there. A lot of folks got caught at home on those plays.
A couple other things on the attendance. One other thing shout out to Jackson State, shout out to Southern. They have probably had some of the larger contingents here from what I was able to see over the day.
They did a good job.
Florida A&M had decent representation.
Yeah.
Alabama State. Now, Alabama State was not what it has been in the past for a couple reasons. Number one, Alabama State had the late game multiple nights. That's number one. You factor that in.
When we say late, we're not talking about the schedule late. We talking about late after the rain.
They already scheduled that the 6 o'clock game, which if you know anything about baseball, especially SWAC baseball, if you're game number 4 of the day, that game is not going to start at anywhere near 6 o'clock.
I even had to get them back. They were trying to stay out. I said, man, we go to the hotel watch.
But, Alabama State, Montgomery, hour 45 from Montgomery to Birmingham to the park. So those are a lot of people who would do the up down.
Oh yeah.
Even when the game ended as late as 11 o'clock, you still getting home at a decent time.
Well,
but with the instability of the rain, there are not a lot of people who are going to make that hour 45 ride
chance driving
to get here for 30 minutes and then drive back home because the rain is delayed. The game is delayed in the first inning or the second inning. There, everybody. So just a lot of things.
The only thing I can see that maybe you can do, you start the tournament a day early to prepare for rain days. That helps.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything in terms of scheduling because people just got to be prepared to know.
And we've seen a lot of this chatter going back and forth, not only amongst ourselves in the media, but amongst you people out there, the fans. Offer different proposals. Move the tournament. What are you gonna move it to? It's raining across the whole Southeast. Unless you go rent a dome somewhere and play in a dome, there's nothing that you can do as far as that goes. It's raining throughout the Southeast. The SEC tournament has been delayed.
My wife flew from California to Houston. She got in Houston, it was a rainstorm. She flew out of there, went to Atlanta, it was a rainstorm. She drove into Birmingham tomorrow, and it's supposed to be a rainstorm. So so literally from the Southwest to the Southeast.
Yeah, so let's get that one out. Now, there are a couple of things that we could possibly do with the format, but there's only so much you could do with the format if you're going to maintain an 8-team bracket.
Yeah, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll get a little bit maybe into some formats. We'll get their comments, and then we'll do some analysis, as you said, on the format and the tournament.
I'm Cameron Peters, quarterback of the Prairie View A&M 2025-2026 SWAC football championship team.
Here on second and goal, Peters looking for some space, and he runs into the end zone. The first score of the game goes to the Panthers.
As the offensive MVP and champion, when I'm not busy studying or practicing or spending time with my family and friends, I catch up on my sports highlights by watching Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Horn, pump fake, steps into the two-point jump shot. That is fundamental.
Yeah, you got to stay on your feet on him.
Looking for some space, and he runs into the end zone. The first score of the game.
Teams that were not picked to win their respective conferences.
Prairie View produces productive people. Prairie View, where champions are built. Not like me. PV, you know.
SWAC fans, join us May 20th through the 24th at the legendary Rickwood Field for the 2026 SWAC Baseball Tournament. The top teams from the SWAC will battle it out on one of the most historic diamonds in the country, where every pitch, every swing, and every moment brings you closer to a champion. Feel the energy, experience the tradition, witness greatness. Catch all the action live on SWAC TV. SWAC, building champions for life.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with AD Drew. We're here with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We have Deuce and Miles. We're talking about doing a break, and I want to get this on the air for the fans out there. Talk a little bit. Have you had the experience of playing in the rain, and what is it like?
It sucks. It really sucks. Your baseball cleats muddy. Trying to cast the ball, it's impossible. Trying to throw the ball is even worse. If you're in the outfield, you're just going to slip and slide everywhere. Trying to hit it, the ball's going to go everywhere. You don't know what you're going to do. Playing baseball in the rain, it's impossible, basically.
Yeah.
A routine double play for the baseman, can turn into a triple.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Miles, your thought?
So I know when I was little, I did pitcher machine.
Yep.
Yeah, the weapon, that ball was going everywhere. And then also, if let's say you're just playing in Little League or any league, you have a bat. And if you don't have batting gloves, the bat can slip from your hands at any second. Especially if you don't have like pine tar.
Also,
on
if
your
you
bat.
get jammed.
Oh yeah, you don't have pine tar on your bat.
Yeah.
That bat can slip. Especially if you're playing first base, you gotta keep your foot on the bag. Bag slippery. Your foot can slip off anytime while you're still trying to focus on the ball.
Wow. And you talked about having a chance to play a little bit on turf. How was that? Is that any better?
It's a little bit better because the turf is kind of like dry, but the outfield still is normally grass. And then it's going to be hard to grip your pitches. You know, I remember, it's just, I tried to pitch once in the rain. I couldn't find my pitches. It was just hard. I had to just work on like a fastball the whole game.
It's good to get that perspective from folks that actually played the game and are playing it now, for that matter, in terms of how they feel they're affected by the rain. Let's go back to the action. This time we're going to look at Alabama State, the Hornets, right? I want to ask you now, in terms of Deuce, them at the back. What do you think about Alabama State at the back?
I feel like the only way they can win this, they can't just keep nicking and cutting like they do most games because that's how they keep their games low. They have to get people on base. They have to score. They have to start scoring immediately. The FAMU, all it takes is 2 to 3 good hits. You could be blown out the water. No chance of coming back. So they need to start early if they want to win. If they don't do that, I don't think they have a chance.
Good stuff. Very cool. Very cool. Let me ask you in terms of Alabama State in the field and pitching wise. What do you think about them?
I mean, they're good, but they didn't make sure they need to have a little bit better control. And they needed, because they're getting hit all over this tournament. I think they need to maybe find some more pitches. They need a little bit more of some off-speed pitches, some maybe pitches that can curve off the plate. Just something different because what they have been throwing that hasn't really been working. They've been hit all over. And even though they won all their games, it hasn't been easiest. So they need to find some off-speed, maybe throw a harder fastball like a 2-seam rather than a 4-seam. Yeah, but I think that's really what they could use.
They need to.
I got to ask this question. Here's one of our voices that we've been hearing on SWAC TV this entire week. You mentioned 2-seam. You mentioned 4-seam. Now, this is going to be the best person to give it to at your age. Please tell everybody what's a 2-seamer versus a 4-seam.
They don't know the difference?
I don't know the difference.
Is it with the grip?
Oh, yeah.
The difference is with the grip.
A 2-seam like this. This is my 4-seam.
The 4-seam, 2-seam is basically
you
your fastest pitch.
You can get more spin on a 2-seam than a 4-seam. You just
throw it fast as you
can.
can.
Throw
It's like
as hard
a
as you can
fastball.
to a perfect area. 2-seam, you get more spin. Might be a little bit less hard, but still more spin is harder to hit.
So a 2-seam is basically, it starts out like this and slowly it moves, kind of like a knuckleball, but faster. So that's why we call it fastball. 2-seam fastball moves it. 4-seam, it doesn't move straight. It moves, but it curls to the side. It just goes straight down wherever you want it. You make sure you want to have good control, because if they don't, that ball's gone. Same with 2-seam. You want to have good control. You want to know where you want to play. If you want on the quarter plate, you better get there because it can go gone. That's why
See you tomorrow.
That's why fastballs.
Yeah.
They're a good pitch to throw. If you know you can throw fast, you know you can throw 90 to maybe 100. You can throw good, but you don't want to make any mistakes on fastball, because fastball is the easiest pitch to hit because it does not move. There's no changes like spin. like let's say a slider, it will slide down across the plate. That is movement. If you mess up that, they could probably have a chance to hit that, but they can also strike out. Basketball, no movement. If you mess up with that pitch, it's going to go gone. Or it's going to be a hit.
So in you guys' opinion, the couple of moonshots that we've seen, and we've probably seen about maybe 5 of them throughout the tournament, you think those were just fastballs that just didn't move?
Most likely.
Yeah, probably.
They probably were fastballs, or just maybe they could be off-beat pitch that were not thrown correctly. Like they didn't execute the pitch how they wanted to.
Yeah, good stuff.
Wow.
Last thing I got for y'all before we take last break, we'll come back and then we'll close things out in terms of final thoughts. What are some of the best matchups that you like in the conference?
Jackson versus TSU.
He only says that because he's a TSU fan, and he's only happy that y'all came back. If y'all didn't came back, y'all would be kicked out.
Yeah, that was the best matchup.
Y'all would be kicked out
If
it would not. If y'all did not win.
Cookman fan, it's okay, but the Cookman fan.
Cookman would beat y'all.
Y'all
The
lost
Cookman would beat y'all.
lost to Pine Bluff.
Somewhere.
TSU
Sorry,
is not good, Miles. I tried to tell you that.
Okay.
They will not win. They lost
You
to
lost
Southern.
an 8th seed, bro. Okay. Southern is a better team than us. Pine Bluff is a worse team than y'all. They're the lowest seed in the conference. Y'all are the highest seed in the conference. Y'all had the most wins in the conference. Y'all beat 2 ranked teams. Y'all broke the school record, and y'all can't beat Pine Bluff.
Maybe Pine Bluff is holding back for the whole tournament. Don't you do that? Have you never seen that? Pine Bluff is almost one of the best teams. They almost beat Alabama. They almost came back. What do you mean we lost?
So do y'all like rivalry games?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the best rivalry game?
TSU and Prairie View.
Yes. And y'all will never win against TSU. I mean, y'all will never win against Prairie View.
And what? Football didn't know.
Yes, football, baseball, basketball.
We literally beat them in baseball. You were there. You were there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's our first coach now. It's our first.
I don't get that.
No. It's our first season coach. Once second season, we will defeat you. Y'all will not come back. We will be in the tournament next year.
And they friends, Dr. Cavil.
Oh, yeah.
We will be in the tournament next year.
All right, we're gonna cheer for when we do.
It's good stuff. Me in the hotel room. All right, let's take our next break. We'll come back and give y'all furnace segments.
But you're gonna win next year.
No.
Y'all got the pure. You got the pure out of. I brought it out of. Y'all got it. Y'all need to check out their show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
And we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned.
Absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay? That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
Right? I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. They're out on assignment, but we're here in wet Birmingham. But as Drew talked about and had looked up as we went to the break, it has started to slow a little bit. It's still constant, but it has slowed in terms of how powerful the rain was earlier.
Just to say, see that comment right there? Give them a show. Make sure I don't know if you were here earlier, but just saying, if you missed it, HBCU Sports Network on YouTube. You can check us out anytime.
That is our show.
Yep, we have 106 subscribers. Go check us out. Subscribe if you want. Just at least just stay for a few videos. Check up on us. We have some special guests come sometimes. My dad, his dad, whoever else you want to come.
Coach.
Yeah.
We interview coaches sometimes.
We're trying. A conference reached out to us for a sponsorship. The CIAA. We're gonna talk that over. But besides that, yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Talk that over with your business manager.
That's me.
Exactly, and I appreciate the comments from the lab listeners. It's something that just kind of happened as I noticed they were doing something. I was like, "What are y'all doing?" And I realized and I wanted to fully support it once I thought it was healthy in terms of them getting into journalism from this perspective and sports talk, particularly from an HBCU perspective. So much respect, a lot of love for the lab listeners. We will integrate them in part of the lab as part of a show, so we'll bring them on ever so often. You kind of seen this with special events, but we'll try to do it more often based on the recommendations about giving them their own show besides the show that they do themselves. So thank you for that. Getting back in terms of a little bit of talk, there was a statement out there in terms of scheduling. Just an honest question about the double elimination format. If both teams are undefeated, why isn't it there a 2 out of 3 doubleheader today? And if a split, then winner take all tomorrow. I think that's an excellent question. We looked at it. I want to give a little bit of shout out to the HBCU AC. They did for their tournament. They did a championship series 2 out of 3. Now it was softball, not baseball. Baseball just did the one game unique. I think the challenge you have with baseball, if you think about it, where you do essentially 2 out of 3 type series, is in the NCAA tournament. You do it at the regional,
super regional level.
Yeah, both. Yeah, essentially even the regional level is a 2 out of 3 because you got to beat teams twice. It's double elimination. But it's 4 teams.
Right.
But the point I wanted to make in terms of the format is even when you go to super region where it's a true
straight 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 is the fact that you have a week between each. So you get a chance for your pitchers to recover, and there's no midweek. If you do a tournament where you play double elimination for 4 games and then a championship game 2 out of 3, you don't have the arms really in any league, not just HBCUs or the SWAC, and really in any league to be able to do that. So to have that type of format, just to give folks, to really look at this, because I think this is interesting, is you would really need to play the tournament over 2 weeks, essentially.
Yes.
Right? At least, 5, 6, 7 days, almost a full week for sure.
Which means you would actually have.
Which you mean you need to start the season a week early, exactly. So instead of having 4 weeks to play games, you would only have 3 weeks to play non-conference games and get into your baseball season. Or you're going to shorten the season by a series instead of 9. So one of the things I wanted to put out there is each of these decisions have a multiplicative effect of how you go into it. So they're not necessarily bad decisions, but they do affect a lot of things when you go into the tournament, which gets back to the other conversation we had is when do you start a tournament? Do you start the tournament on the weekend and then have a championship in the middle of the week? Or do you start in the middle of the week and have the championship on the weekend? And so those are some questions you need to really look at when you start asking those questions. And there's no perfect answer in terms of this. And so that's why I think asking a question like this and having these ideas are good, but I'm not sure if we really go down and break it down enough with folks and see that while you could do that, how it's going to affect something else that you may not want to change.
I think also, Dr. Cavil, I don't think a lot of people truly understand the SWAC baseball tournament model. Yeah. And what do I mean by that? Forget everything that you know about 18 tournaments, double elimination tournaments.
Yep.
What you have to realize is that there are 2 independent 14
I like when you break it
double
down.
elimination tournaments running simultaneously in the same venue.
Yep.
That's what it is. You play the regular season for seeds. Your would be your top bracket in a traditional 18 bracket where your 1v8 and your 4v5. That's one that they just split that up, and that's just 114 tournament.
Yep.
And then in the other one is where your 2,
Another
3,
14 tournament.
your 2, 3, 6, and 7.
That's right.
Go and you see them appropriately. So you play all season long to get into bracket A or bracket B. So then from there, it is a traditional 14 double elimination tournament.
That's right.
The baseball gods blessed us today because we did not have any if games this year for the first time since expansion.
That's right.
When you look, let me put it back up on the screen. When you look at that weather and think about the nuclear option for the SWAC, if we would have had either one of those if games, considering last night.
The worst option is you would have had 2 if games played today.
Right. Because think about
the nuclear option.
Last night, because of the rain delay in the bracket B championship game, they didn't finish before midnight. You can't start a game here at Rickwood Field after midnight, which means you would have had could have had potentially 2 if games this morning.
Yep.
And then having to wait for a championship game in the midst of all this rain that you see on the screen. But get back to the point.
Yep.
214 independent tournaments
really good.
with the 2 champions coming out of those 2 tournaments playing in a winner take all championship game. We go back to Southern Jackson State, the year Jackson State was undefeated. I believe that was 21. And we had a lot of clamoring about that was Jackson State's first loss. Why don't they get to play again? Because there were 214 independent tournaments with a winner take all championship game.
Yep,
and I think that a lot of people still don't understand that format after all these years.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, those that follow softball, it's a true just a double elimination. 18. Yeah, it's just an 8 team. It's not 2 brackets. It's just one field, double elimination.
And honestly, I like this.
Well, I can see the baseball coach. I like this format personally.
Yeah.
But I can see the baseball coaches looking into the other format. I think the challenge the other one you can get is where you just do 6 teams or 4 teams. That becomes a challenge. You get the top 2 bye.
How do you eliminate 2 teams in the SWAC when you just seen the number 8 beat the number 1?
Correct. I was just going to say that. Coaches are not going to support
and we've seen the 7 beat the number 2
ADs may support that. Presidents will check off as long as the tournament ends. And it's not costing any more money. They're not going to have a problem with it. But you're not going to get it past the coaches. The coaches are not going to cut out 2 teams. I can see them potentially doing a bye system where first 1 and 2 get buys, which means you're probably going to have to go to
another day
all
minimum.
8. Yeah, and you have to start a day earlier to do that. When you're adding costs when you're doing a day too, so you got to be able to justify that cost associated. So again, I think these ideas are really good when you talk about that.
Can anyone explain what FAMU is being shown as the number 2 seed when they ended? I have no idea where you're seeing that. FAMU was the number 3 seed in the tournament, but they were the number 2 seed in their bracket.
Correct.
So that may be where you're seeing that at. They were the number 2 seed in their bracket behind Southern, but they were number 3 overall, whereas Alabama State was the number 4 seed overall, but they would have been the number 2 seed in that particular bracket under that bracket.
Yeah, and when you
format.
say 2 seed, they were the second team in that bracket.
Second highest rated.
Right, team in their bracket. They weren't a 2 seed in that.
A true 2 seed.
They were the second highest team in that particular bracket, which gets back to your point. You got to look at it as two separate brackets versus a one field of 8 like you see for softball. Great questions. Keep them coming.
So, FAMU, because this is baseball, FAMU should be the home team because it's in baseball, you go by the seeds no matter what, which I thought was interesting yesterday. despite FAMU coming into that championship game undefeated against Southern, but because Southern was the higher seed, being the number 2, Southern still had last back.
Yeah,
I think the seed should hold up until you get to the championship game, and the undefeated team should have the last at bat.
I would
just my
I
personal,
could support that.
Just
I
my
can support
personal
that.
opinion on that. So
anything that y'all have? Do y'all have a format that you like, or a question? Go ahead.
I have a question for all 3 of y'all.
Okay.
What do y'all think is the biggest upset y'all have seen so far?
Dude, come on, bro.
I start that
I
one
didn't
off.
ask you, man.
You said all 3 of us. You said all 3 of us.
I'll ask you later. I already know your answer.
No,
starting with
I was started off there, Deuce. Obviously, the biggest upset has to be Arkansas Pine Bluff defeating Bethune-Cookman, not once, but twice. So it's hard to top that one. But I'm gonna throw this off. Also, Jackson State losing the 2 walk-offs also has to be up there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be my second one. Is the way that Jackson State lost 2 games is walk-off, and it happened to be
TSU
the only
got
2-2 play that they
got
played.
lucky, Miles.
Yes.
It's okay, but dude, it's fan.
And Kingsford is one of the sponsors, so we can actually say the Kingsford
Charcoal,
the Kingsford Charcoal team of the week.
Yeah, for sure. Other than that, it really hasn't been a lot of upsets in the tournament. I mean, even we see the top 4 best teams in the conference, and essentially going into the final 5 teams, you had 4 of the top 5 teams still playing. So the only team that was able to get in there was the 8th seed of all of them. But yeah, everybody else kind of stayed true.
Do you consider Texas Southern over Jackson State? We talked about Jackson State losing that game, but do you consider Texas Southern over Jackson State an upset?
Yeah.
That's a good question. What do you think? You see it as an upset?
Texas Southern, the 7th seed.
What seed was Jackson State?
No, Jackson was the 7th.
seed.
Texas Southern was the 6th.
I don't think it was an upset.
No, that's
I think,
not an upset.
But towards the middle of the game, it kind of
They just got lucky. I got
it's okay, but dude, fan.
Okay,
It's
why
okay,
you
but
keep
dude,
bringing
fan.
that up now? We're talking about TSU. No one's
It's
talking
okay,
about
but
Bethune.
dude, fan.
No one is talking about
And the
them.
reason I
Talk
asked
about
that
TSU
is because of the tradition of Jackson State baseball throughout history. Texas Southern had its run in the teens, but if you talk historical, Jackson State has been the.
Did they play each other in the regular season?
Yes. We
Who
swap
won
up.
that game?
We swap up.
Yeah. So that's where you would say it was.
Yeah, I got to go on the field and use the broom. I really did.
He said, "I really did." So from that perspective, it probably wasn't a upset.
That's not an upset, y'all.
That's why I asked. It's a good question. See, they do their homework in terms of that. Is the Lane helping ASU now?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's a tough question. A really
I think
good question.
I think the rain overall has hurt Alabama State, and we'll get into that in the next segment. But
I think the rain delay have hurt all
Yeah.
the
So let's
teams.
take our last break, and we'll come back and we'll give you our final thoughts. We'll get into some analysis. Get these gentlemen's final thoughts, and we'll break it down. But I did want to get a little bit in terms of the tournament bracketing and those things. So we got that in. Let's take our last break and come back on the other side.
What up, y'all? This is Dante Horn, starting guard for the Prairie View A&M 25-26 SWAC basketball champions. As an MVP and a champion, when I'm not studying, practicing, or hanging with family and friends, I take the time out to catch up on my HBCU highlights by watching Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Horn, pump fake, steps into the 2-point jump shot. That is fundamental.
Yeah, you got to stay on your feet on him.
Teams that were not picked to win their respective conferences.
Prairie View produces productive people. Prairie View, where champions are built. Not like me. PV, you know.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU image, a Kenny T's company.
SWAC fans, join us May 20th through the 24th at the legendary Rickwood Field for the 2026 SWAC Baseball Tournament. The top teams from the SWAC will battle it out on one of the most historic diamonds in the country, where every pitch, every swing, and every moment brings you closer to a champion. Feel the energy, experience the tradition, witness greatness. Catch all the action live on SWAC TV. SWAC, building champions for life.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna law, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil inside the HBCU Sports Lab with AD and the Young Guns, if you would, in terms of bringing in on the mic. Hot mic says they get it done. This is Deuce Cavil and Miles McGinty bringing you some updates here and giving you their flavor in their analysis of the game. Let's talk a little bit about those fans. You can go to blackcollegenines.com. AD Drew has done an analysis on the championship game. So go check it out, give the clicks, break it down, and then we're going to give you a little bit about what it says. But go by there and read it so we can get the even more details about what may take place today.
All right, this season, Florida A&M leads the series 3-1. Florida A&M with the sweep in Tallahassee, but Alabama State winning the neutral site game in the Andre Dawson Classic. So that's the number one thing. Here's the most important thing that we have to look at is the pitcher. Now, both Florida A&M and Alabama State have both played only 3 games in this tournament. But all these games are not equal. What do I mean by that? Caleb Granger started game 1 of the tournament, everybody. That game was played at 9 o'clock on Wednesday.
I forgot. So long ago.
Yeah. All right. Workman pitched Thursday. So those 2 arms should be available today for Florida A&M, with Granger probably getting the start.
I agree.
And then if you get 5 out of Granger, then you can expect Workman to come in for 2 to 3, and then somebody to close it up for Florida A&M. Alabama State, LeBoy also pitched on Wednesday.
Correct.
LeBoy pitched on Wednesday. That was Wednesday night. That was the game that was delayed and didn't finish to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So
did he come back in that game?
No, but he did pitch in that game. Okay. He didn't come back after the delay.
Yeah.
But the fact was he was still at the park.
Oh yeah.
And he did not get a chance to start his recovery process until later on in the day. Almost 15 hours later. Don't sound like a lot. Yeah, on the surface, they both pitched on Wednesday, but truthfully, it was really Thursday-ish when the boy pitched. Now, here's the other thing. Game 2 for Alabama State actually did not occur to Friday. So the chances that your Friday pitcher, your number 2 starter, being available are slim. You could probably get an inning out of in this.
How many pitches did he throw?
That would be Trey Power. He pitched 5.2 innings on Friday.
That's a lot.
Through 83 pitches. If
so
you
might get 15.
If you get anything more than an inning out of him, that you're
pushing it. Yeah, you're pushing
and you want him to come in with in a clean inning. What I mean by clean inning, you want him to come in and start the inning. You don't want him to come in with runners on base type situation.
So you'll be looking at if he's stronger against lefties, you'd want him to come in a situation where you see in the lineup where they have the lefties, 2, 3, and 4, something like that. They 2 lefties, out of the first 3 batters, or at least 1 out of the first 2. So you look in not just timing, but also perfect scenarios.
Yes.
To give him the
Situational
biggest
baseball.
situational baseball, to give him the best scenario to fight through it.
Right. Now let's look at some of the top performers, and let's go with some MVP candidates from these 2 teams. Should somebody, whichever team wins. Let's start off with Jackson McKenzie from Florida A&M.
No doubt.
He's had 2 home runs, 6 runs scored, and probably had the best offensive stat line for the tournament. He is 6 of 12 at the plate with 3 walks / being hit by a pitch. I think he's got 2 walks and 1 HBP in his plate appearances here in Birmingham. Matthew Perez for the Rattlers. Driven in 5 runs. Let's see. Perez. Also, he's 4 of 12, 5 RBI, 2 runs, 1 double, and has drawn 4 walks, which have been key. And Ryan Young for Florida A&M has also been a key performer. Had 2 appearances, 3.2 innings, has not given up a run, has a save, has thrown 40 pitches. So possibly could come in and be able to shut it down for Florida A&M. And for the Hornets, Miguel Opreza. Oh my God, he's probably definitely the leading candidate. 12 RBIs in the tournament. He is hot. Hit a grand slam against Grambling, 3-run double against UAPB, and they'll come from behind victory, and a 3-run homer against UAPB. Also, just to give you his numbers. Opreza, 6 of 11. Y'all thought McKenzie was doing good. I mean, Opreza's is even better.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 runs scored, 12 RBIs, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 walks. Fabian Santana, 6 of 9 on the tournament at the plate, scored 3 runs, 4 RBIs, and 1 walk. And if you look at a picture, James Peterson has appeared in all 3 games here in the tournament, including the save against Grambling. But he's thrown 121 pitches in the tournament. So how much does he have left in the tank out the pen?
Yeah, you use him in emergency where you just need to get 1 out, or if this goes into extra innings, you may go a little deeper than you want. See if he can give you an inning. Let me get your final thought, young men, I should say.
And can I ask the question?
Yes.
All right. I want you for both teams.
Yeah.
For Florida A&M, what will it take for them to win? And then for Alabama State, what will it take for them to win, in your opinion? We'll start with you, Miles.
I'm going to start with Alabama State. They got to get on the board early. They have to score a lot of runs because they're not a team that, they don't slow down. Once they get started, they don't slow down. They don't stop. And they always pile up a lot of runs. They're not a team that beats you by 1 run or beats you by 2. They don't score just 1 run in a game. They'll beat you by a lot. So Alabama State have to be ready. Their pitching has to be on point today, and if anything goes wrong, that could turn on them for any second.
So for you, Deuce, in terms of FAMU, what do they have to do to be successful?
For FAMU, they just better hope their pitchers are on point and that they can get their 2 or their number 1 or top best pitcher to hold it down against ASU, because all ASU needs to do is just get a couple hits and keep scoring. If their pitchers are able to hold it down, I don't even need to talk about FAMU's offense because I know they will get hits and score runs. So all they need is their pitcher to make sure they lock everything down. No one scores, no runs. Maybe try to get a no-hitter, or just, I forgot what it's called, let no runs get scored.
Yeah. And now let me throw in my 2 cents on what I think it's going to take for each of these 2 teams to win. Obviously, FAMU has the pitching advantage with both Granger and Workman being available. FAMU is, and this is for either team. LeBoy is probably going to go for Alabama State. Who's able to get out first and give their pitcher that comfort of an early lead and be able to put up some type of crooked numbers early? So, because in a game like this, pressure bust pipes.
Right.
And if you're in a one-run game or you get down early, that forces the pitcher to think about, I've got to make the perfect pitch. I've got to be perfect every time to keep my team in the game until the bats get hot. If your bats get hot early, that takes a little bit of their stress off the pitcher and able to get them to breathe. So whichever team gets out early is definitely going to have the advantage. Who's going to be able to keep the hot bats off the base? Does Orpreza come up in RBI situations? And what does FAMU do to counter that? Or does McKenzie come up in RBI situations? And what can Alabama State do to counter those RBI situations? So the key is going to be who gets on base ahead of those two. And is it 2 outs? Because I'm not going to lie to you, Dr. Cavil, Miles, Deuce. If either one of them come up, and I've got first base open, I'm putting them on. So those gonna be the type of situations that you have to deal with. But I don't know if I'm putting them on with 1 out, or definitely with nobody outs. I'm not putting another runner on base. So those are the type of situations that you're gonna have to see there, Dr. Cavil.
Great announcement. Any final thought?
I want to ask something.
Sure.
It's also how each team plays their situational baseball. If they play it in the biggest thing here is how you play it. If you play situation baseball the right way, you have a good chance to come out and win the SWAC championship.
Let me add to that.
Like
That's a good point that you
I was
brought up.
about to say.
Oh, go ahead, Miles, and then I'll add.
If you have a good inning, you have a bad inning, you have to carry on momentum. If you do something good, you have to keep building on it, because if you do something bad, then your team, if one player does something bad, that momentum can easily shift. You want to keep building on your momentum. Make sure, even if someone does something bad, you need to make sure you're cheering them on or just telling them to do better next time. You got to keep the momentum good in the dugout. For anybody, good atmosphere, just to make sure nothing goes wrong.
There are two keys here there are two key things that you want to do here. You want to play situational baseball the right way, and like Miles said, you want to keep that momentum. Say how TSU how Southern kept having bases loaded, they could never get a hit. They kept losing momentum, but that was gaining momentum for TSU. So they were doing good, but they couldn't just keep it alive. They couldn't just keep the momentum on. If that happens with FAMU, if they're able to keep that momentum on when they come back at fielding, they can win that game.
I think the reason why that momentum kind of shifted TSU game probably because of shortstop.
The shortstop did get injured
after
that.
Injured in the middle of the game, and that probably
I forgot about that. Good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and both these young men brought up good points, and I will go back to something that they said earlier: situational baseball. And I don't remember which one of you guys were talking about throwing the field to the ball in wet conditions.
Yeah.
So let me put it back on the screen, everybody. We can see the field. It's wet. The tarp is still out there.
Yeah.
Expect a lot of bunting here to force these fielders to move and make throws. Ball gets hit to the outfield. Expect a lot of challenging and taking the extra base, because that outfielder is going to be picking up the ball that, if you know, the outfield's not covered, everybody. So that ball gets hit out to the outfield. It's going to be wet. Expect these runners to be aggressive and try to take the extra base and force these fielders to make the perfect play.
And
not only do you have to make the throw, that's what I was going to say.
Get down the
you got to throw it, you got to catch it, and you got to hold the tag and put the tag. And how many times do we see the ball bounce out on the tag? Yeah. So that's one thing you want to take a look at and see how aggressive these two teams are. And does a team decide to play small ball, or do they decide to swing away in situations, especially with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs?
Yeah.
If it's me and I'm Alabama State, because right now I feel like they're the underdog, I would immediately try to start swinging try to hit to the outfield. If I have a speedy runner on base, I would want him to steal, because the ball's going to be wet. So throwing it to second base might be hard for the catcher, and it might pass him up, so it might give him a chance to go to third. If he does able to get to third, if my hitter is able to, I don't care if it's a pop fly out to the outfield or it's a hit. If he's able to hit it to the outfield, you get an RBI. One scored, I'm up by 1.
You'll take it all throughout the game.
And I still have 2 outs left to serve during that inning.
Yeah. Good analysis. And you made me think, because you're talking about once you get on, still in the base from that perspective of making the catcher make the throw. I like that. The other thing that I was thinking about that it may have slowed down because most of these teams are pretty aggressive in terms of stealing bases, particular FAMU. But I was saying that this may slow them down. But to your point, they might decide to go ahead and try to take it to force the throw into action, which both of y'all are saying not only on the field but also from base to base.
The pressure will already be put on the catchers and the pitcher because because it's wet, so baseball's gonna be wet. Slippery.
And then you're a pitcher, can you
hot.
get your grip?
So if they can,
Watch the walks of the HPPs.
One bad grip from the pitcher could lead to a long shot, tying the game, or the momentum would immediately shift, and the other team might not be able to come back from that, which is pretty hard.
And I
so
think
you're
also,
already putting pressure on the catcher and pitcher trying to throw it during red rain, which if you're still there, the catcher might their mental mind might be.
And I think
might not be
also
good.
infield has to step up because if the pitcher can't find a grip, someone out there you don't want to wait for the coach to come out and do a mound meeting. Someone in the infield, catcher maybe, come talk to the pitcher. Got to calm him down. It's the biggest game of the year, basically for this tournament at least.
So the update said great comments from both of y'all. We're going to close out. The update had said 2:00, but the guys are still in the stands.
I'm gonna check.
It's still raining, but it is like it's constant, but it's more of a drizzle than the hard rain. The other thing that is that you notice
pushed back to 3.
Figured that. So the other thing is that the field, though, we told you about the puddles in different areas. It's
They're
clear.
gone.
They're gone.
Except for one down the right field line in foul territory.
Oh yeah.
This field has pretty much cleared out. Let me see if I get a large shot of it.
You also want to protect your pitcher's mental mind.
Yeah. What are some things you do to do that? Have you heard?
So say I'm throwing bad pitches, which I've done a lot. You kind of want to breathe, because you want to breathe because you know you have fielders behind you that can help you. So like think of the situation where you got a runner on first, you have a hitter, and you're not throwing your best pitches. Just breathe. Give them something that they can hit. So because it might give them something that you know might be able to hit, so they might be able to hit it to shortstop.
Yep.
Maybe third base. Just try to give them something that they can hit to the infield, so the infield could easily get a double play, and you don't have to stress as much. As a pitcher, you don't want to only rely on yourself for strikes. You want to rely on your outfield, with your whole team. You want, because baseball is not an individual sport; it's a team sport. So you want to just focus on your team and make sure they're doing good, and also make sure you can get them involved, not just trying to strike everybody else running as hard as you can.
And also, any coaches or just anyone that's watching, I think one tip for each team. I know there's 2 mouths in the bullpen. Every inning, want to warm up 2 arms because you never know what could happen. Because each inning you could have. Anyone could be warm. At least want to warm up 6 pitchers or maybe 4, and every two innings alternate them, or every 1 inning alternate them. So
in terms of warming them up,
and so their arm will be warm once they get out there, so they could have 4 or 5 pitchers just ready to go at any time in the game.
Make sure.
So not only y'all do radio,
you might also want to give them. You might also want to give them a wet ball. So if they throw one bad pitch, they won't, and the ball is wet, it won't be different from them. So they already be used to it. They might not fully be used to it, but they be used to it throwing with a wet ball. It won't be.
And I think maybe they need to practice and make sure with the catcher, they need to make sure the catcher
he's ready for anything because the ball will be ready. And it could slip out his glove.
I think they might want to put in for the whole warm ups. They don't let the real catcher out there. Have your backup catcher with all their gear on. Have them warm them up, and have the real catcher practicing when he's not batting, when they're not warming up with wet balls, just to make sure they don't miss the ball, because any pass balls with these aggressive teams like
you want to be as aggressive as you can.
One bad ball can it's not going to go good if you miss one. And then also I knew how y'all were talking about the outfield. These fences aren't regulation like SWAC. These are deeper fences.
These are MLB type fences.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this deep at McGregor Park where TSU plays, but I haven't really. But this is huge, especially these walls aren't short.
That's the other
I want to tell you.
I think
I
these are
want to tell you.
12-foot walls.
I want to tell you a fact that Miles have told me. He said these, when they renovated, these weren't the original fences. They were pushed back farther than that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you how far back how far back
if you
these
see
fences
that,
are.
you kind of see that metal part right there, that rusted metal
Yep.
part. That's where the
Concrete.
fences used to be.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Now
Good catch.
I'm gonna give you guys perspective on how much further, and for those who have never been here, when they renovated and brought the fences in, the distance between the current outfield wall and the original walls is almost the distance from home to first base.
Wow.
Which is 90 feet.
Exactly.
And-
It's anywhere between 80 and 90 feet, depending on which part of the fence that you're talking about. So that's how much further you would have had to hit the ball to get it out the park, and how much more
If we're going-
territory
you would have to cover. That's the part I thought about.
If we're going-
would have to cover is the distance between home plate and first base from the current wall to the original wall.
If we're going dead center, which is already 400 feet, which is already hard to hit over, 90 feet to 80 feet, that's 490.
Almost like 500 feet.
So that's basically 500 feet. And
487, the dead center was the original wall. 417 down the line, and I think it's 328 currently.
Yeah, that's crazy.
332 on each one.
332 to right, but 328 down the left.
Okay, good stuff. Well, let's call it a show. Hope you
Man,
enjoyed
this
our
has been
pregame
fun,
analysis.
Dr.
Oh, it
Cavil.
certainly has been.
Oh,
Thank you for listening to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I am Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, the Dean of HBCU Sports, coming
Go
from
read the
Inside the
article.
Lab in the College of HBCU Sports with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop. Our guest today was A.D. Drew. We have Deuce Cavil the second, as well as Miles McGinty, giving you some great information. Check them out on their show, as they said earlier.
HBCU Sports Network, all caps.
On YouTube.
Good stuff. Again, we want to thank you for listening to Dr. Bill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. We look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram. That's DrKenyattaCavil, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook, Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube.
This is
Dream
our channel.
big.
Hold up. Go
us
ahead.
out.
Let me get it closer to the camera.
That's our channel.
That's our channel. Check us out.
Good job. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. AD?
Course.
Deuce?
Lecture.
Miles?
Bye.
Be dismissed.
Dismiss, bro. Is that not what your teacher tells you in class? Dismiss.
Class dismissed.
He said bye.
Wow.
Holla.